pick up our first conversation of the day, it actually relates to what I was alluding to earlier. Some of the dreams, or people who helped dreams not to die simply because of the situations at the time. So every once in a while, we do encounter individuals whose lives do remind us that real transformation does not actually always come from the grand speeches. It doesn't come from the is. It doesn't come from the 20 points. It doesn't come from the 4 5s. It doesn't come from the 8 points, you know, at all level. No. But from consistent commitment and service to uplifting others. So this morning on our Tech Note, we're spotlighting a bold man. We're running a Bold Women series, but this morning we're having a sit down with a bold man whose journey has bridged medicine, mentorship, as well as thought leadership. Dr. John Akur is an orthopedic surgeon, a social entrepreneur, and a founder of Kumi Orthopedic Center, a specialized hospital that he established back in 2011 to provide bone and joint care to underserved communities. And at one point, he was the patient also. But beyond the operating theater, Dr. Akur is also a prolific author whose writings have explored resilience, purpose, leadership, and social transformation. And among his works, you do have Undeterred. This is an orthopedic surgeon's journey of fears, tears, and cheers. That's a very interesting story that you must read about. It's a deeply personal memoir of, sharing his chronics of trials and triumphs that shaped his life as well as his career. Then he also has another one around changing our world, taking initiative in our individual economic transformation. This book is about challenging individuals to become architects of change in their own communities. So don't wait for the government. This whole thing of Tusaba government to Yambe, no, don't look for that. You can be the change that your community needs. Now he's added to that collection another title that is growing bold, and that is his latest book, We Can Be More: The Courage to Grow, the Strength to Rise. And that is some encouragement that you and I could use this morning. And so as it will be launched in a few days, we get to have him joining us this morning and just letting us know between the last time we talked to him and today, what's the latest update. Doctor, how are you? And you're most welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you everyone who is watching us this morning. Yes, we can be more. And thank you for that introduction. There is much more that we are capable of as Ugandans, as human beings, and we are launching this book for 2 reasons. One, we want to encourage our countrymen and women to get into reading, and then 2, we also want to fundraise for those unfortunate than ourselves who have no ability to find their level in education or with the skills that they need. And we want to try to also, using my late mother's, the foundation we set up in memory of my late mother, we also want to see that we work on the environment in Uganda. And sometimes people wonder why me as an orthopedic surgeon, as a medical doctor, I'm interested in the environment. There is a huge interconnection between the environment and good health and health. And so this morning I hope we will be talking about education, the book itself, and environment. And
you're becoming a seasoned author. We Can Be More: The Courage to Grow, the Strength to Rise. Tell us, what's the backbone of this particular book?
This book is about asking us not to get satisfied with where we are. There is much more that we can achieve by exerting our abilities to improve or to become excellent or excellence intellectually, spiritually, and even institutionally. We as Ugandans, we have most of the people you hear on the streets and everywhere else, most of the time people complain. So it's about moving from complaining to creating something. It's about doing something for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your country. It's not about asking government or donors to do something for you. It's about us doing something as a people. So it's also about moving from the mindset of scarcity, the thinking of always thinking that many things are not available, to that thinking of abundance. There are huge opportunities in this country for us to make changes as individuals, as communities, as a country. And the mistake we make most of the time is to wait. Or even when we've gotten our degrees, we arrive, we get satisfied with that. God did not intend to do that for each of us. There is much more that we can do. And I know
that stems from a place where the world had set standards for us that go through school, primary, secondary, and then university. After university, get a job, and then thereafter get married, have children, and that's it. You'd have ticked off the boxes of living.
No, life is much more than that. There is so much that we can create. Especially in Africa, why have we stagnated for so long? Why are we looked at as a continent that requires to be helped all the time? We have a lot of wealth within us. We have only not turned it into what we need to give us to live healthier lives, happier lives, wealthier lives. We can create. So we want to think of creating than just think of complaining. It's a call to everyone who feels like they have stagnated to, within themselves, they will be able to create something bigger that makes them happier.
Okay.
And the purpose of life is really to be happy, wealthy, and also serve other people.
Doctor, your stories or your books are always based on a certain season of life or a certain individual. What do we see as the character of who we can become more?
Yeah, first of all, I think about become more, it takes me back to my late mother herself. She was not a rich person. She was a midwife. She wasn't a doctor. And she worked in Kumi Health Center in Kumi district, or Kumi municipality now. And I saw her in the scarcity that there was. I saw her struggle to bring us up, her children, and support many other people. You know, we were born at the time of instability. I went to school during the times of instability. And unfortunately, she passed on during that time of war in Teso. And her passing would have given me to break. Actually, because she was the breadwinner, she was the person who took me to school and did everything. My life almost got shattered. But of course, the goodness of people, the people who worked with her within that region, helped me to complete my school, my secondary school, so that I could access a government scholarship at Makerere University. But her passing, the grief that I went through did not beat me down. It actually taught me a lesson to see that there was much more I could gain from education, to escape poverty, to escape disease, to escape many things. So there is something powerful in education. And if we can help many of our people study, get skills, they can beat and defeat the poverty that we sometimes talk about in our country.
Okay. Yeah. Across your books, I see a continuous theme that looks so much in believing of the true strength that lies within oneself, and also a quiet and consistent impact that we should be having on people, on communities around us. So from your surgical work to your environmental advocacy to your mentorship as well as authorship, how important is it passing on knowledge and experience to other people around you?
Yes, the way we are designed as human beings is that we do not, or we are not going to live forever. So it's important that what you get to know, you share with others, motivate others, pass it on to the children, pass it on to your relatives, your community, your nation, your people. And this life, when you live, you must live a legacy. You must live a life of legacy. You must create something that, not just because you'll be remembered for, but will make life better for those who will come after us. And so even in my own field of orthopedics, we have to make sure that we train other doctors to do what we can do in a better way. We have to allow them actually surpass us, become better than we are. Even in away from health, in life, you must allow your neighbor to be better than you, mentor them to become better than you. Then it means generally the population begins to live a life that is actually excellent, that we all aspire to live. So it's about giving your neighbor a hand, lifting up the other one who is below you, and if they can go higher than you, then life is more satisfying.
All right. Doctor, you've been at that for decades, and I want to understand from your view, do Ugandans actually have the culture to preserve and share knowledge across generations?
It's beginning to grow. I mean, we used to be very selfish, but people are beginning to lift each other up. And that's why when we launch a book, many people come to attend, because every seat that you pay for at the book launch is opening a classroom for someone. So Ugandans are beginning to be not just generous, beginning to be supportive of each other as human beings. So I don't want to say that Ugandans are mean, Ugandans are like this. No, we are forming a critical mass of people that will help our country move forward. Not necessarily because of politics or something like that. No, it's about humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That brings us into the Elizabeth Oola Foundation. Launching the We Can Be More will also be raising funds for Elizabeth Oola Foundation, which is supporting education, scholarships, as well as mentorship and skilling for the underprivileged youth. What is the inspiration behind creating this foundation? I know earlier you had alluded to, you know, it being centered around your mother and how hardworking and committed she was, that you are having a better future than she did.
Yes, Elizabeth Oola Foundation is one way we can give back to our community, is one way we can lift up the whole nation, is one way we can support education. Most times people have believed that foundations are theories and something like that, but because I lived through the experience of almost failing to complete my education, and other people who were not even my relatives supported me, I know the impact that supporting others that you do not even know has on our nation. I mean, I became a doctor. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. If you support a child to get skills, you do not know what they will become in future. You could be opening up an avenue for more doctors to come out, more engineers, more pilots, more administrators. So this is what it means to support those less fortunate than ourselves. Their being poor doesn't make them intellectually incapable. They are capable, only that they have not had the opportunity. So it's about creating opportunities for others. But Elizabeth Oola Foundation is not just for education alone. We're also talking about the environment. Our environment, if we don't take care of it, will be doomed.
Okay, that's the second time you're mentioning the word environment and us taking care of it. Can you be more elaborate on when you're referring to environment? What exactly are you referring to?
Do you know that environment encompasses everything? The air we breathe, we should mind about pollution. The environment that we live, meaning I'm talking about sanitation and hygiene. If you take care of your environment very well, you about cut off more than 80% of the diseases that actually kill people. And then if you live in clean, hygienic environments, you're going to live without lots of those other unnecessary diseases and have longer lives, more productive lives. Every time you spend in a hospital, that's time lost for productivity. So you're going to save more energy and more time for you to do some work that will help build our nation. But also environment in relation to the things that we hear and see. Even the noise. The noise itself is affecting many people. You can't sleep, you can't live. And if you can't sleep, it affects your mental health, okay? You can't work well when you've not had a restful night. And if you are living in an area that is devoid of trees and grass, when it's dry season, you'll be suffering with a lot of dust. And that dust can affect your airway, can affect your lungs, your breathing. If you're living in an area that has, the wetlands have been damaged and destroyed, like Kampala and most of the places, people suffer flooding, effects of flooding. Just let alone flooding. The diseases that come from those floods, the stool that is sprayed everywhere, the contamination of the water, that affects us. So we need to be thinking environment. Environment is a key thing. When you see somebody sweeping and cleaning the street, that person is doing much more than the doctor who is operating actually a more complex surgery. That person is preventing a lot of deaths from the unhygienic conditions that would lead to disease. And the operation that you're doing in theater is just one, okay? So let's not look at the people who are doing those things of cleaning and protecting the wetlands, and those people are saving our lives. And so the environment is a key thing, and they're interconnected with health. Health, not just at home, but also health everywhere else, including hospital.
Doctor, let's talk about, you're referring to, of course, the hospital. Let's refer to the Kumi Orthopedic Hospital that you set up in 2011, specialized bone and joint care closer to the communities that had previously had limited access. In terms of we can be more, talk to us about the since 2011 to date. How has Kumi Orthopedic Center actually been more?
Yes, Kumi Orthopedic Center has grown. It has grown from when it started as a small clinic. Now it's a specialized hospital. It has 120 beds. We're doing more complex surgeries that we're not doing then. We have acquired more equipment. We now have magnetic resonance imaging. We're acquiring CT scanners. We're acquiring high-tech laboratory equipment. We're acquiring lots of things. We have added on the number of doctors, specialists. We have employed more people. So we can actually be more. So looking at Kumi Orthopedic Center as an example, we are not staying stagnant. We are growing, and we are going to even train doctors within Kumi.
Okay.
We are going to, we have started a process of working with Soroti University to train specialists at Kumi Orthopedic Center. Okay. So we can be more is not about limitations. Is about moving to the outer space.
Okay. What active work are you doing through the Elizabeth Oola Foundation?
Yeah, the active work we're doing is we're supporting other organizations like the Lions Clubs International, the club in Kumi, the clubs in Soroti. We have also worked with Malaria Unification Foundation to plant trees, but we're also educating our communities about protecting the environment and planting trees. Our Teso region is so much affected. The tree cover is low, and so we're working to try to improve our tree cover. We're also working on telling people not to continue burning bushes during dry season because that destroys our environment. We're trying to ask people to protect the grass because the grass is useful for so many things. So those are the things that we're doing with the Elizabeth Oola Foundation. But the education we're talking about with the Elizabeth Oola Foundation is tertiary education. Right. We are supporting those, we're skilling the youth, maybe those who are leaving primary schools, those who are leaving secondary O-level and A-level. We're giving them the skills, those who can go to the tertiary institutions, but also those who want to become doctors like me. If we get a good resource envelope, we'll sponsor them to the universities that we have in our country. All right.
We Can Be More is going to be launched this month. Tell us more about the launch as we close.
The launch is scheduled for the 26th of March, starting at 4 p.m. at Hotel Africana at Nile Hall. So because it's also a fundraising event, this is how we have done it. Each seat will go for 200,000. The 200,000 will have your dinner in, which is 100,000 for dinner. 50,000 will give you a copy of the book. 50,000 will go to Elizabeth Oola Foundation. Okay. But you can also give us a corporate. NTV, I'm looking out. I'm waiting for you to come. There is a special seat for NTV, a special table for NTV. That table goes for 2 million shillings, at least 2 million shillings. And any other companies can come and support our initiative.
All right.
You're all welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. John Akur. He's giving us another reading. We Can Be More, quite timely because we need the courage to grow and the strength to rise. And that brings us to the end of this discussion. Thank you so much for the inspiration, and may you be inspired as we enter into Women's Day. Do stay with us.